A Moonlit Secret by WorldSmith. Twilight Sparkle sighed. It was another late night for her, and while she enjoyed studying with a passion, tonight she just couldn't seem to get excited about the dusty tome sitting in front of her. Sighing again, she looked out the window at the empty streets of Ponyville. It was a lovely midwinter night. The moon was full and bright. Soft, fresh snow, yet untouched by ponies, blanketed the streets, and Fluttershy was sneaking down the road.
Wait, what?
Twilight looked again, and indeed, she saw Fluttershy quietly gliding from lamppost to lamppost, darting look all around as she went.
Now what is she up to?
Twilight asked, her curiosity growing.
Who?
Aloysius hooted.
Fluttershy.
Twilight answered the owl.
Who? You know, Fluttershy.
Twilight stopped and smiled at herself at getting caught misinterpreting her pet's hoots, and watched as Fluttershy made her way towards Whitetail Woods. Her curiosity getting the better of her, Twilight cast one last look at the dry tome before getting a scarf and her boots, deciding the book could wait while she sated her curiosity. Twilight fully intended to just catch up to Fluttershy and ask her what she was doing, but something about the way the shy Pegasus was sneaking along drove Twilight to be just as quiet as she shadowed her friend. Twilight's mind raced with possibilities of what Fluttershy could be doing in the middle of the night.
What in Equestria is she doing? Is she meeting somebody? Who would she meet at this late? Maybe it's a lover. Who could it be?
Twilight had little trouble believing that the sweet Pegasus would be enough of a hopeless romantic to meet some special pony in such a secret way under the light of the full moon.
Now I have to find out.
These thoughts urging Twilight on, the two ponies made their way deeper into the forest. One pony unaware of being followed, the other pony getting a strange feeling of excitement from innocently spying on her friend. The two snuck quietly through the moonlit woods. Eventually, they seemed to reach their destination, the edge of a large clearing. As Fluttershy reached the tree line, she glanced back one last time, nearly giving Twilight a heart attack as she dove out of sight behind a tree. After a few breathless moments, Twilight peeked around the tree, and what she saw took her breath away. Fluttershy had stepped out of the shadows into the pale moonlight, her breath visible as a soft cloud. The moonlight had turned the butter-yellow pony into a pale silver color. A wide but demure smile graced her face as she closed her eyes and spread her soft wings to their fullest length in the cold winter air, shivering slightly as she wore no winter clothes. She held that pose standing on the tips of her hooves, when suddenly Fluttershy leapt gracefully into the air, flapping her wings as quietly as possible, sending snow flying in a small silver flurry as she flew into the frozen air.
Now, let's see who Fluttershy is meeting.
Not daring to breathe, Twilight crept to the shadows near where Fluttershy had taken off, and widened her eyes in awe. The clearing was a masterpiece of light, the white snow reflecting the silver moonlight till it shone like day. Luna's moon rested full and bright in a dark blue velvet sky, and the air was so clear and cold Twilight was afraid to make even the slightest sound, lest she shatter it like glass. Just the picture of this clearing, cast in silver and shadow, would have kept Twilight awestruck, but what truly demanded her attention was Fluttershy, who wasn't meeting any pony at all. Fluttershy glided through the frozen air with a silence that would make an owl weep. Twilight could see her eyes sparkle in pure joy as the shy pony flitted around the clearing in a silent dance in the frozen air. Twilight suddenly felt like a voyeur, watching her friend's flight, but she could no more look away from the breathless beauty of the scene than she could tear her own hoof off. Fluttershy flew in joyful loops and twists and dives, but never going above the treetops, and doing all with a slow grace reminiscent of a waltz. With each dive she came inches from the snow, swooping the loose drifts into her flight, creating a glittering trail behind her. After what seemed to be a blissful eternity to Twilight, Fluttershy finally landed in the same spot she had taken off from, careful to not create any new marks in the white snow. Eyes closed in joy, the panting from her exertions steaming the air in front of her, Fluttershy made her way to where Twilight was watching. Twilight's heart leapt to her throat as she realized there was nowhere to hide. her mind creating worse and worse consequences for her spying. She tried, futilely, to make herself as small as possible when Fluttershy noticed her with a barely audible,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spy. I just saw you from my window and I meant to call you, but you were being so quiet it made me quiet, and I'm sorry I watched you. You danced, you were very pretty, and I just couldn't say anything. I'm sorry.
Twilight whispered in a single breath, unable to speak any louder, still held by the spell of the winter night. For Fluttershy's part, she was shocked and embarrassed at being caught in the middle of one of her private moments by the lavender unicorn. For a moment, the two socially awkward ponies just stared at each other, both growing more and more embarrassed with each passing second.
This was supposed to be private.
Fluttershy finally whispered. Twilight's ears folded back.
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me.
Oh no, it's just no pony was ever supposed to watch me.
Fluttershy nervously shuffled her forehoof in the snow, blushing. It finally dawned on Twilight that Fluttershy was just as embarrassed at getting caught dancing as herself at getting caught spying.
Well, if it helps, I thought you were beautiful.
Fluttershy retreated into her mane, but not before giving a small, pleased smile.
Really?
She squeaked.
Of course. I don't see how any pony couldn't think so.
Twilight answered, smiling warmly.
So, is that what you do? You come out here and dance?
Fluttershy blushed deeper and nodded.
Only on full moons in the winter like tonight. It's just so pretty.
She trailed off. Twilight could only nod.
There's another clear night scheduled tomorrow if you wanted to, come with me and watch me.
The shy Pegasus squeaked out, sinking further into her mane. Twilight's smile grew wider at the invitation of her friend to witness something so private to her.
Fluttershy?
She waited for her to look up.
I would love to.
The end.